podcast, We the People, your local real estate news with Carlos Rojas, real estate agent, and Brad from Greenleaf Title. You ready to start, Brad?
I'm ready to win, man. Let's go.
We got some good stuff today, guys. We got rates again. As always, we're gonna start with the rates. We got NAR lawsuit cases update. We got a couple of updates on lawsuits. It seems like lawsuits are just popping out of anywhere now.
Everybody's suing everybody nowadays.
The senior vice president at Disney got caught saying there's no way we're hiring a white male. We got something to say about that. Mortgage application rise. And finally, Ray Stadium. All of this on We the People. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? This is We the People, a real estate podcast. Let's begin. All right, everybody. Welcome. Here we are. Let's go ahead and start right away with the rates. We are at 7.49. Yeah, it's exactly as last week. It's the exact same rates. We don't have much to say about that right now, as nothing really changed, right, Brad? Everything's staying still.
It's pretty similar to what it was last week. So, it's. I mean, I'm seeing some deals go under contract, which is good. You know? So
we're definitely picking up. I just acquired another listing this week. I'm very pumped up about that.
Love that, man.
As a matter of fact, let's go right into it because, the rates are staying the same, and we don't have Frank here to give us.
I know we miss Frank. Frank should be back next week.
I know, man. Come on, Frank.
When we get Frank back, we get Frank the bank.
Stop cruising.
Well, actually, I guess the new thing with mortgage. Actually, now you think about it, right? The mortgage applications are on the rise.
Yeah.
So we did talk about that. I actually have some data here. It's actually a lot of information on here, but the market composite index, the measure of mortgage loan application volume, increased 0.9% on a seasonally adjusted basis from 1 week earlier. So not that much, but a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And the refinance index is actually 30% higher than it was the same week 1 year ago. So that's a little bit positive news. I mean, compared to like a week, it's sort of like nothing really.
Absolutely.
A week, but
And me and Frank have talked about it before. I mean, it's this summer, right? The busiest time of the year for realtors.
Yep.
It's gonna pick up, and there is some studies that show that it will be picking up even more than it has been at the beginning of the year and stuff. So I'm ready for it. We're ready for it. Let's go ahead and start with this listing that I just got this week, guys. This is a great listing. It is right in the middle, in the heart of town and country. If you're familiar with the area, it's very desirable. We got, just minutes away from the airport, everything that you need in Tampa. 5 bedrooms minimum. You could actually convert another bedroom into a 6 if you need to. Let's go ahead and show it to you guys right here. So this is just listed pictures here. Pool home, fireplace. It just has everything you need. Game room, office with just looks to the what do you call it? The pool area. Just windows everywhere that are looking towards the pool area. It just gives you a really nice feeling of a homey type feeling. So here we are. Let me show you guys the video.
It's a great family house.
Yeah,
great house to have a family right there.
So that's the entrance right there. You go from the kitchen to the game room right here. As you can see. Little bar area. We'll take the concept windows everywhere. That was the office.
The open house.
I don't know, man. I might do something for a good video. Here, by the way, the owner just did the epoxy floors. They look so good. Like I've never seen anything like this in a home, and they really make the house pop. And then if you go to the second floor, you got the bathrooms and bedrooms here with flooring all around that have just been recently stained, so that's why they look so shiny and pretty. And we got an open house. Me and Brad, as well as Lincoln Lending, Emilio will be there at the open house, and as well as Jennifer Rojas, which is another real estate agent that I partner with, and another real estate agent. So we're gonna have 3 real estate agents there. We're gonna have a title guy. We're gonna have a lender guy. So if you guys want your questions answered in terms of lending, we got somebody that can literally pre-approve you on the spot. Right there. So if you're looking to just get pre-approved, you can literally come to this listing and we'll get you pre-approved. If you're looking to ask questions about title, we got Brad right here that can help you out. And real estate questions, I will be helping you out. And other agents there will be available as well to help you out. And we are expecting a big turnout. One of the nicest things that I will be doing in this open house that I've never done before, and I'm really looking forward to it, is I got a chef to cook us some paella, man. Have you ever had any paella bread?
I have, but not really. Well, I guess I have. Like the yacht club had a chef cook it, but I mean that sounds good, man. I'm excited.
It's gonna be tasty, man. It's
like
gonna be
it.
real
I like
good.
it.
We're gonna keep it very commercialized. We're not gonna put too much because you can make paellas of all types. We're not gonna put too many fish items and stuff on it because some people are allergic. So we're gonna try to keep it traditional and commercialized so everybody can kind of enjoy it. Especially the what do you call it, the allergic people.
Yeah,
they can enjoy it. There's no seafood on it, but it will be delicious. I know the chef personally, and he will kill it.
So I love it.
Going from that, so that's the listing, guys. Let's go ahead into the lawsuits here. So we have, first off, the first lawsuit. It's a little bit of a weird one. It's gonna be the EXP lawsuit here. Lawsuit claims that EXP was aware of sexual assault by alpha agents for years. Took no action. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Brad read it here, and we'll go over this one with EXP.
Yeah. So this is long here. What we looked at, and I talked with Carlos about this before the show. It's a lot of allegedly this, allegedly that, right? Yeah. And I think it's important when stuff like this comes out. You want to read it, you want to see what's going on, but from reading this, it really has nothing to do with EXP, right? So if you're an EXP agent like this, that's nothing. I mean, I'm sure people are asking you about that and stuff like that. I was looking at this. It says that it's not scheduled to go to trial until 2025.
Right.
I'm sure something weird happened with somebody here. They're saying.
And that can happen anywhere, right?
That can happen anywhere. So, it's a lot of allegedly, a lot of, you're not really 100% sure what happened there yet. So, that's something, I mean, it's definitely big news right now, but I would just say, if you are an agent for the EXP or you're wondering about it or, stuff like that, just don't focus on it too much and just kind of
focus on, are you happy, with what you're doing, right?
100%.
So I would say I went to an EXP event last year with a friend of mine, Linda. She invited me. She's an EXP agent, and I got so much from that event. I learned so much from so many different. Ed Milet was there. He gave an amazing speech. Like, dude, I was crying when he was talking up there.
Awesome, man.
This
He's
guy
one of my favorites.
he gets to your core, to your heart, and really digs into your potential and what you can accomplish. And he does it by storytelling. But anyways, like, just an amazing event. I think EXP does a lot to empower their agents. And it's just, when I see stuff like this, I can already tell people, kind of like in politics, they read the headline and automatically assume that there's something crazy going on at EXP, and they don't actually read the whole details of what actually took action or happened or didn't happen. And then on top of that, they involved a higher name from the company into it to make it, the lawsuit, to make it even that much bigger or that much more money. And that's where things get a little bit scary. And I just, suggest to everybody that read the whole thing. Make sure that you understand there's not even any information out right now. So don't just make any assumptions. There's so many agents that I respect from EXP, and I do think it's a respectable brokerage. And I just want to make sure that we draw some light to a situation that people could look at in a negative way. Just saying, we have no idea what happened in this case yet until 2025, but we will be following it and making sure that you guys get the right opinions or the right knowledge of it, at least, to make your own opinions. All right, so then we got the NAR lawsuits. So on the NAR lawsuits, I want to talk about this a little bit because so we've been talking about it, me and Frank, we've been talking about it in the podcast here, and there has been some knowledge on it that we have shared. I have shared personally that I did not truly understand fully. So one of those was in a previous episode, I mentioned that as realtors, this is an opportunity to make more money because we could kind of like build the commission up. We could build a commission with the buyers. We could build a commission with the sellers. Come to find out, that's not how it works. You cannot like tack on commissions. You basically have to agree to a commission with your buyer. And then after agreeing to that, you cannot your commission can come either from the buyer or from the seller, but it needs to be exactly what was agreed to at the beginning, which is a little bit different than what I thought it was. I thought you could, let's say you charge a buyer, I don't know, $1,000 to work for them. And then the sellers are also offering a commission. I thought that you were going to be able to tag those commissions on, like you get the $1,000 from here and then this over there. And that's not how it works. You actually have to agree to a commission. Let's say you do 3% with the buyer. You agree to that commission and the buyer agrees to pay you that commission. Now, if the seller is offering a commission, on that, which they're not going to list it as a commission. They're going to list it as buyer concessions or, you know, buyer credits or something like that on the MLS, because you can't list it as commission, right? Mm-hmm. What's going to happen is that difference, that, you know, like let's say they're offering 3%, then the buyer won't have to pay anything because the seller is offering that 3%, and that's something that will get negotiated internally. So it's not the what has changed, it's the how. I got this from the geez, I forgot his name. It sucks because he's such a good speaker. But I just went to a recent event with Alledgedly Title, and it was just last week, and this broker was there. I forgot his name. I'm gonna put it in the description just for him. But this guy from California, which has done a bunch of deals, has a lot of credit on this, was talking about it, and I got a lot of knowledge on this whole situation. So it's not the what that has changed, is the how. So the way we do business is gonna change a little bit, but it's still the same. We're still gonna need buyer's agent. Buyer's agents are not gonna go away. Out of 10 transactions, 9 of those transactions have a buyer's agent. We're gonna need buyer's agent. They're not going anywhere. Now, how is it gonna be different? Well, you're gonna, as an agent, you're gonna actually be able to sell yourself. You gotta sit down with the buyers and actually sell yourself and sign an agreement that states what you will be compensated. So that's the only thing that changes. It's really it's really like the same way as before. Mm-hmm. The only difference is that the buyers are a little bit of risk for more commission paid. But at the end of the day, the only person that's bringing money to the table is always the buyer. So even though, you know, we have conversations like, oh, buyer doesn't have to pay me anything, I work for the buyer for free. Those are all things that are going to go away. And we're actually going to have to sell ourselves. So those agents that can't sell themselves are the ones that are going to suffer in this.
Yep.
But if you actually truly like respect your job and you know what you're doing and you're on top of it, you can figure out ways to keep on making money on this. And honestly, if you're a good agent, people still want to work with trusted agents, like good agents, people that they can trust and want to work with.
100%.
So just want to make sure I mentioned that as the DOJ came out with something on this. Brett, do you mind going reading on that?
I got this right here. So the NAR lawsuit. So the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, argued to an appeal of court yesterday. The last month's petition by the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, a rehearing of the agency's bid to reopen its investigation into the association is not warranted. So filed on May 20th in the D.C. Circuit of Court Appeals, NAR asked both for a rehearing in front of an original 3-judge panel that in April allowed the Department of Justice to reboot its investigation. So of several NAR rules, as well as a chance to argue their case in front of a full cadre of judges, which just means a small group of judges on the court. I Googled that before we did this. On the circuit court, known as the en banc review, which I Googled that too. That means on the bench in French. So I don't know. That rhymes actually, on the bench in French. The appeal represented another push by the association to stymie further efforts by regulators to alter policies foundational to the industry. The panel's errors are far-reaching and exceptionally important. Every day, federal judge agencies resolve civil and criminal enforcement actions through agreements with private parties. NAR lawyers wrote in the May filing, it is a bedrock principle that the government must honor its word to those contracts, no matter who occupies the White House or leads the antitrust division. So, yeah, I mean, kind of like you said, though, man, I think that, it's really just going to come down to, it's a lot's going to be very similar. We're going to need buyer's agents, and you just got to be a good agent and just focus on being a good agent and a good person and learn how to sell yourself.
The one thing that I get from there that just doesn't make sense. Why is the DOJ not approving this? Like we just let's just get to the bottom of this and solve it already.
I know.
It's so I don't understand like what their angle is on trying to delay this or not make it happen. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's not making sense there. And we're going to move on to another topic, which is mortgage applications are on the rise for this week, as expected, obviously, with the summer coming in, as we stated earlier. So on this, personally, I'm getting more busy for sure. How are you feeling, Brad?
I mean, last month I had the busiest month I've had all year, right? This month I'm kind of tracking around the same. So, I mean, it's getting busier. You know, this is real estate season. I always say baseball season's real estate season, if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, really,
makes sense.
not everyone talks about that, but, you know, from March to October,
Yeah.
that's real estate season,
Yeah,
man.
it really
you know?
is.
So, so really, I just think that, you know, we're starting to see, I already talked about that earlier in the show. I said that, you know, refinances are up 30% than they were a year ago today, which I love to hear that from a title company side because we love refis.
That's right.
You know, we talked a little bit about the credit card debt and stuff like that on the last episode. So one of the reasons why a lot of people are refining, but, you know, hopefully rates come down soon. But, you know, it's still a good time to buy. You can negotiate right now.
That's right.
So, but we talked about that mostly already. And, you know, let's just keep them coming. And you guys know, you know, we got Frank the Bank as the other host of this show. So, you know, we miss you, buddy, and we can't wait to have you back in here because you can get deeper into these mortgage conversations than me and Carlos can.
That's right. That's right, Frank.
Carlos and I will help you when you're selling your house. And
you know what I really like about Frank? He takes vacation very seriously. Like he really like enjoys himself. Every time I see his posts when he's out there, he's really enjoying himself.
He'll have some fun stories too.
That's
I mean,
right.
I wish he was here to tell you the story about when he one of his vacations when he went skiing and he almost burnt his hotel room down, which was an interesting. Do you ever hear that story?
No.
Frank, ever tell you that one? We'll save that for another one. You guys, if you guys are sitting here watching, you know, mention that you want to hear Frank tell that story, and we'll tell it another time. But he almost burnt down a hotel room one time on one of his last vacations. So
all right,
hopefully he's not doing that.
Some local Disney news. So apparently Disney's not hiring white males. You hear about that?
I guess I'm not getting a job at Disney anytime soon.
Do you want one?
I don't want a job at Disney, but if I wanted one,
look, man,
they definitely would not hire me, and I'm definitely overqualified for that job.
Disney's been doing some things, man, that I just, you know, I keep away. Even going to the parks. I used to love going to the parks back then when I was little. I don't know, man. As an adult, it is not fun. The sweating, the lines, the way that they handle business, how expensive it is, just getting from park to park is just not as easy as, I don't know. Things just seem way more complicated. And on top of that, all the things that they're doing to lure kids and stuff like that into the wrong ideas or mindsets are not something I'm in favor of. But hey, they caught the executive talking about how how they won't hire white guys at Disney, white males. Specifically, let's watch the video here.
Certainly, there have been times where, you know, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
Like straight to you? Or okay.
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against whites, white men in particular.
I think I'm sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male. And that's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the job. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, "We're not that's not what's wrong." They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like we're, at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of,
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
I'm guessing that there's acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, look, we're not looking at the usual suspects for this job. So it's not a legally actionable thing, but everybody knows what it means. they, for writers and actors, we hear all the time, like, looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
How crazy is this?
That's crazy, man.
What's your take?
My take is that, imagine if that was reversed, right? Imagine if I said that, we didn't want to hire, a Cuban person, right? Yeah. Imagine if, like we said, we only, no matter what it is, right? Like no matter what race you are, right? Like just like you said, right? I mean, he's saying that they're not going to hire white males. It's definitely interesting because, a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but, there's definitely.
Why do you think they're doing this stuff? Do you have any thoughts on this? How about in your industry? I know you meet a lot of people, politicians and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there anybody talking about stuff like this? Like, what
No.
are people saying about this? Is it just, who cares?
I mean,
I kind of like that mindset, honestly. Like when people act like this, like you just mentioned Cubans. If I ever catch anybody saying, I don't hire Cubans, I don't like Cubans or whatever, I literally, like, I know how Cubans would take it. They'll be like, all right, like,
Yeah.
who cares?
like no one, I feel like
nobody wants to work for you anyways. Like,
and I feel like we don't see it as much in real estate, even though I feel like there is a lot of that, right? Like we're not, like you and me aren't going and applying for jobs. We're not doing, you know what I mean? Like we're in a completely different world. But
how do we say no to money, right?
Yeah,
no matter what
I don't
race you
care,
are or
yeah.
what you believe. Like if you just put in an offer, oh no, don't hire this person because like we don't care. Like the clients just want their offer.
I don't feel like we even see that much anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't care what race you are, I want to work with you. You know what I mean? And but the problem with it is, and that's what I'm getting at, is like these companies like Disney, they want to hire they want somebody that's black because they want to try to act like they support Black Lives Matter when really most black people don't support Black Lives Matter, right?
Here's what I know. I feel like there's the government pushes, because I remember this from when I was back at GM back in McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
I remember working at Zephyr Hills McDonald's. It was, I don't know, one of them. And as I was hiring people, I never looked at race or anything. I looked at smiles and I looked at good hearts, right? Because that's how we do our interviews. As we hired a bunch of people, eventually, somebody on top of us, like, I don't know, my supervisor, somebody, I don't remember who, reached out and gave me my percentage of race that I hire or whatever, and just to be aware, and that I needed to hire different races to match that percentage. And I'm like, look, hold on a second. I am struggling here. I'm trying to survive in this store. And I know that I'm hiring talent. Like I'm looking for talent. I'm not looking at anything else. I don't care what you are or anything. Like I'm looking for good talent, people that are smiling, people that will say, thank you, come again, and, give that great customer service. Why does this have anything to do with that? And just from that point of view, right? So let's say to Disney, they tell Disney, hey, you need more of a percentage of this type of race or whatever because you have too many of this one. Let's say that comes down from the government. I get that. This is different. This is like intentionally wanting to do something. What do you think that is?
It's just the agenda they're trying to push, and it's crazy, man. I mean, I remember, other news that happened this week, the Celtics won the NBA Finals, right? Yeah. And I don't know if you caught this, and this actually would have been good to put on the show, but I just thought about it right now, so we're going to bring it on the show without pictures, right? Or without the video. They asked the Celtics coach, how did it feel to be a black head coach in the finals or something like that? And it was I forget how many black head coaches were in the finals, something like that. And you know what his answer was? What? He said, I wonder how many of them were Christians. And I loved that, man, right?
Wow.
Because, they try to push the narrative so hard. I remember they did it to Todd Bowles and the Bucks too. They were talking about, because they actually gave an incentive in the NFL to hire black coaches. I don't know if you know that. It goes into the same thing we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Right? They gave an incentive. I think they gave the team like extra money to hire a black coach. Why? What does having black make you be a better coach, right? And that's what. But they're trying to push that, right? And I love that the Celtics coach brought that up. And it was really cool. I was just looking at that earlier, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but he had something on his shirt. Oh, he said, "Thank God first," or I think he said, "Thank God first." And I just really like that guy. And and we're starting to see a lot of black people stand up and say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? Because they realize that they're being just as racist to other people as people said they're racist to them for so many years, right? And I'm not saying that no racism exists anymore,
Right.
but I am saying that they're trying to push that agenda, and I almost feel like, it's almost like reverse racism,
Right.
It's like these people are saying that all this stuff is
It's
happening.
like it's almost gone, and then let's just bring it up.
Yeah, they're like,
anyways.
oh, well, let's bring it back because people,
That's what Vivek said, and I agree
Yeah.
with that so much. It's like, dude, I come from a communist country, and there's racist people over there, but it's kind of like I don't know that it will be the same as here or not. I don't know. I don't want to compare percentages, but I will tell you this: there's racist people over there. The people that are against each other, they know this. They're not like unaware. They all know. But we all have one common enemy, and that's the government. So it doesn't even matter. Like Diaz-Canel the other day, the president of Cuba, was talking about how how amazing this country is. There's no killings, no disappearing of children, no this and that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no news. Like, you control the news.
Yeah.
There's no narrative that is not pushed by you. Like, there's no point on obviously you can say things like that, but everybody knows you're lying through your teeth. There's a bunch of things happening. So it's just funny for him to compare everything against the
100%.
United States. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And we all know Disney's woke, so they're just trying to be even more woke. But don't be woke, guys. Awaken. Right? I don't know. I heard somebody say that one time. Like, it's not about being woke. You want to be, you want to see what they're doing and fight against it. Because just like Trump said, everything woke turns to what? Oh, you heard that.
Wait, what is it?
He said everything woke turns to shit. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, let's go to the next thing here.
All right, here we got the Rays Stadium. So St. Petersburg City Council discusses Rays Stadium in workshop. So let's debate here a little bit on the Rays Stadium. What are your thoughts? What has happened? If you want to give it some information to people about what you got going on here. By the way, we're both really big Rays fans. So
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I have season tickets. I'm there all the time.
Look at
So
that. I don't have season tickets.
But I also live 10 minutes away from the stadium, and
yeah.
you live like 40 minutes away. So
Yeah,
it's harder for Carlos to be there. I drive like 35
on
minutes. 40
game
minutes
days,
to get here.
it's an hour and a half.
Yeah,
trying to
so
get in
he
there.
lives a little farther than me. I grew up in St. Pete, so I want the Rays to stay in St. Pete. I know he does not. So we debate on this a little bit, and it's still going through. It looks like it's going to be a done deal. I think this is going to be great for the city of St. Pete. Look at how awesome this looks. This is going to be so cool. They're supposed to have this done in 2028 as long as the deal goes through, and the rest of the development is going to be really awesome. There's going to be, a lot of development, a lot of different buildings. There's going to be a convention center. There's going to be a lot of office space. I think there's going to be apartments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really awesome development. Now, they're still working through it right now. City Council met. Pretty much 5 city council members are for it, and 2 are on the fence. I think actually the other guy's on the fence too. But what I was reading here, so Ed Montanari, who's actually the first guy I ever voted for, really good friend of mine, and somebody that we could probably bring on the show one of these days too. I was just reading the article, and he says that I think most of us are kind of in the same place. I've generally been for this agreement, and I've been working on a stadium search for 15 years. I think there's a general consensus for where we are. The analogy I've used is kind of like buying a house, which I love that he said this. It goes perfectly for our show. Kind of like buying a house. You have a willing seller and a willing buyer, and you're going to closing, making sure all the documents are right. And that's kind of what we're doing here today. So, I've been real involved in this. I mean, I've been going to a lot of the different, city. I was just at a city council mixer. I was at a fundraiser last night. Last couple of days, I've been meeting a lot of people running for city council, having conversations, and, still, kind of networking, meeting, figuring out who I'm going to vote for and stuff like that. And, basically it seems like the deal is going to go through. It seems like that's going to happen. It seems like everyone's going to vote yes. They're just trying to get the details together. Kind of like Ed said, they're just trying to get all the documents ready for closing, right? So really, they're just trying to make sure, because I just read like the actual numbers and stuff like that. I think it's let me actually just read that to you guys real quick, just because it is kind of interesting. So the council members would clearly prefer better financial terms for the city. St. Pete is paying roughly 21% of the stadium cost. Pinellas County is chipping in 23%, and the Rays are responsible for 56% of all cost overruns, which, really, I think that it's going to be fine like that. I think a lot of people are worried about, like the city's paying a lot. Well, I've had the conversations with the local city council members too. Ed Montanari is one of those people that he was talking about how the bed tax, so the tourist tax basically, which is what the bed tax is the tourists are paying for this stadium basically. And this should bring more tourists. I mean, you and me have been Rays fans for a long time.
Yeah.
We're probably still going to have the same problem where it's more of the other fans of the other team in our stadium compared to our team. But I do want to say something about that real quick too, is our team is still very young, right? It is the 26th year, okay? I'm 24. I've been a Rays fan my whole entire life. There's not a lot of people that have been Rays fans their whole entire life.
Yeah.
Okay?
I have.
You have, right?
Yeah. Well, I came in 99.
Well, there you go.
And that's when I became a fan.
Yeah, but you're younger too, though.
Right.
And
they're 98 team, so it was just 1 year.
Like my grandparents, for example, like they're Rays fans, but they have only been fans of the team since '98. You know,
so as time progresses, the new generations
and
catch on.
we got to take our kids to these games and stuff like that, and really.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing with this is I think it's great for the city of St. Pete. I think it's good for Florida.
Yeah.
Because guys, if this deal doesn't happen, the Rays are out of here. They're not going to go to Tampa. They're going to go to Tennessee. They're going to go to North Carolina. They're going to go somewhere where they don't have a team and they want the team there.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's going to happen. And a major league sports team, especially in a city like St. Pete, is so great for real estate. I mean, that area is just going to be completely redeveloped, and property values are going to go up. So if you own properties, if you're investing in that area, it's a great place to invest. And you'll watch the prices are going to go up a little bit right around that area once that deal is completely done.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking in that area, and I know I'm in that area a lot more than Carlos is, but Carlos can still help you out in that area. That is definitely an interesting investment right now too. So
I work the St. Pete area plenty to know and understand one that it's very desirable. I mean, it's close to the best beaches we have in the area. If you talk about Tampa Bay, like the only better beaches in my opinion is going to be Anna Maria, which is a little bit further down, and you can still get to it a lot faster than if you live in Tampa. Here's the thing. So I definitely don't want the Rays gone out of our state, out of our city, or at least within an hour is still better than Canada or somewhere else like that. When they started talking about Canada, Montreal, it really broke my heart. It felt like right away, it felt like I was being betrayed. Maybe they used it as a scare tactic so that we can, actually fight for this team. But St. Pete, okay, I love everything that you said, but there's issues with St. Pete. The first issue is every time when I go to the Rays game, I've been to Boston Park and I've been to the Miami Marlins Park, and even in Miami, it's still more enjoyable than here. Our stadium, and it's not the stadium. I think it's the city around it. When you get out of the stadium during the weekdays, everything is off. It's literally get in your car and go home. Why? Why isn't everything open during the week? It's like everything closes early in St. Pete. They close at 1 o'clock or something, or at 11.
I don't know. I think you need to go to St. Pete again, man.
Brother, I'm telling you, I've gone to these games. I get on a Tuesday night, right?
You don't go to Ferg's afterwards?
Well, everything is closed. I wanted to go to tacos, and it was closed. I wanted to go because I like St. Pete on Friday nights and Saturday nights. But when it comes to the weekdays, for some reason, the connection between the games and what the city is doing is not quite there for some reason.
I agree with that a little bit, but I'm telling you, though, I think that you need to go to Ferg's after the games.
Okay.
You don't ever go to Ferg's?
I don't think I've been there. No, is that the place where they have like games to play and stuff?
Oh yeah. So Ferg's. So I'm
like
actually
a beer bar. I think.
It's really. We were just talking about this the other day because it's kind of funny. I was with one of my friends who he just got the Marines, and one of my best friends I grew up with. And we were into Wing House to watch the Celtics game, right? And there was like no one there, and we were sitting here like talking about, well, what is the sports bar in St. Pete? And it's Ferg's, right?
Okay.
Ferg's been around for 30 years. I'm friends with the owner of Ferg's.
They don't play any soccer, right? Football.
They have every sport on
For
you ever
real?
want, man. This is where I go watch UFC. That's where I watch everything. But it's right outside. It's the place that has the tunnel from Tropicana Field to this bar. So,
I'm not aware.
So
maybe I need to.
We're gonna have to go to a Rays game. I'm gonna show you a whole different experience of the Rays game next time we go.
Okay.
Because I think, because Ferg's will still be there. Ferg's is still. Ferg's has no plan of leaving when the new stadium's there too.
Yeah.
Ferg's is definitely one of the most legendary sports bars that's been around. I love the story of Ferg's, by the way, too, because it actually started out. He was a teacher, and he actually bought a gas station and turned it into a bar. and then just kept adding on and adding on and adding on, and it just has so much character, man. But no, I mean, I would say, it's definitely, we don't have the nightlife like if you go to some of the other stadiums like Milwaukee,
like the Lightning. Let's keep it local.
Keep it local, yeah. The
Lightning, the Bucks.
But the Bucks, I mean, you still got to walk over to like Wing House or something. I mean, there's not, where else are you really going to go?
The Bucks location
the Bucks,
is not
the Bucks
great.
Is the same.
It's not.
The Bucks
it's not
is
great.
worse than the Tropicana Field right now, I would say.
Right, but the Bucks get full because of location, and that's the next topic that I was going to talk about. Location-wise, Tampa is situated way better than St. Pete. St. Pete is like is on the west side of Tampa, and it only, like, anybody from New Tampa has to drive a lot longer.
Oh, I know.
Anybody from Plant City, anybody from anything that is like Orlando has to drive a lot longer versus being in Tampa. My preference, if I were to pick a spot, would have been in the middle of downtown. I don't know. I would like the Ybor City location. I thought was great. Even if we have less fans, we could they could have charged more per ticket. It would have been full every single day. You would have attracted the UT fans. You would have attracted USF fans. Like any other major colleges are around there, which young people are gonna be going to those games and fill them up and be having some fun. Then you can get out, enjoy downtown Tampa if you wanna take a longer walk, or enjoy Ybor City. Bring life to Ybor City because Ybor City at night can be a little dangerous, but other than that, like I felt like location-wise, if this works, you know what? The experience is what got me with this idea. Because when I see those pictures right here, these beautiful pictures right here, when I see all the buildings around and all of that, okay, that gets my attention because that makes me want to rent a hotel, go to the game, and enjoy the experience, take another day to the beach. There's going to be, it looks like there might be some shopping to do, some malls to do, some parks. Look, like I could walk all around that stadium. Like that's different.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now, obviously, like you leave the stadium and there's a lot of sun.
So, yeah. But let me tell you this too. Like what you just said, it makes me want to book a hotel and go there. I think that is what makes St. Pete more attractive than Ybor City, than anywhere else in Florida. Because St. Pete is where a lot of tourists go, right? Yeah. I'm a St. Pete local.
This is true.
I'm a St. Pete local. I was born and raised in St. Pete, right? I like the tourists that come to our city. The tourists are what make our city even better, right? Yeah. St. Pete still is not marketed that well. I will say that, right? I was actually at a political fundraiser last night. And
I would agree with that.
Gary Cardone, Grant Cardone's brother, said that last night. He was talking about how, our city is like I think it's the greatest city in Florida that not everyone talks about, And look, and people will hate on me for telling people that a lot of times too, because,
why?
A lot of locals say they don't want more people to move there.
Oh.
We're in real estate. We like that, right? So I'll say that. I love when people move here, I think it's great. But what I'll say is, that is what St. Pete has that other cities don't have, is that St. Pete, you can get so many, you can get to the beach in 20 minutes, right? Yeah. And you can also get to Tampa in 20 minutes. It only takes me 35 minutes to get from St. Pete to where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I know in rush hour traffic, it's going to be longer.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to take me like 50 minutes to get back. But, and that is what time baseball games are at. It does make it harder for people, locals, and we still are probably going to have that problem a little bit to where growing our fan base is going to be a little hard.
Yeah.
But we already know that most people that go to these games are fans of the other team anyways, and we're still so young and still building our fan base. I think that that's the best decision, at least for now. And I know it's going to be a long-term decision, right?
Yeah.
And this is going to be something for a long time. But I really do think if we really want to fill the stadium, we have to have a place that tourists are going to want to go, and it's going to be a state. Because one thing, and then I know we're talking about this for a long time, but I also, something that my family and I do is we go and travel, and we go to a lot of the different stadiums. I try to go to a different stadium once a year.
I want to go to all of them eventually.
Yeah, I've been to 11 right now. So nice. I've been to 11. I will say Fenway Park is probably my favorite that I've been to, which is funny because everyone thinks that all the newer stadiums are the best. And,
I went to Fenway,
they are,
man. I watched a Rays game, and not just the stadium and the location and everything. The people there were actually really cool. Everybody was telling me that they were gonna eat me alive, that the Boston fans were crazy and blah blah. It wasn't, man. It was
they
really
were cool.
Really cool people.
It was the same experience with me, and it was funny. It actually did end up raining out. Right, so the game got delayed at like the 6th inning.
Yeah,
and it was funny because I was like, that's someone probably will never have at the Tropicana Field. And if you saw in the new stadium too, it's still gonna have a roof. It's so hot and it always rains here.
No,
we'll get all our games get rained out.
And in Boston, the sun was coming down. We got the nice lighting, and then we got the nighttime. The temperature was perfect in the middle of summer. When it comes to here, yeah, I can't have an open stadium. I need
100%.
AC, man. This is not Cuba. We
Yeah.
need the AC, and we need to play ball in the AC and catch and throw ourselves in the AC. That is the better way to go in Tampa for sure, because the rains are coming, and we all know it too.
100%. But yeah, so I think it's going to be great for our city, and we'll keep you guys updated on what's going on with that. I'm very involved in that. I'm talking to politicians about that pretty much every time I talk to them, because that's a huge part in my city. You know, I live 10 minutes from the stadium, so like this, it affects me a lot.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. So we're going to be talking about that.
Well, I'll vote for it, and I'm for it 100%, as long as they don't move out of my area, because the Rays are my favorite team, man. I'm looking forward to supporting them for a long time. All right, guys, this will conclude our episode. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. Thank you for sharing this. Please like, please subscribe. We'll see you on the next episode of We the People Real Estate Podcast. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, you have our contact information right on the description, so don't be hesitant. We got the whole process here, okay? We got approvals. We got a real estate agent that can help you, and we also have the lender guy. So all the information you need is right there. Thank you, guys. See you on the next one.
Be great.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody.